Get Down Show. Here we go. Wow.
All right. This is Collin Reid, and this is the Break It Down Show, and we're ready to rock.
Yeah, that's right. We are indeed ready to rock. Going to talk some baseball. I also have Brian Wetzel in here. Hey, Brian, what's going on? Brian,
Hello.
man, a few words. Collin.
Evening, everybody.
Collin.
I know, it's going to get confusing.
I know. I sprung it on Collin at the last second because I realized I meant to include him earlier. And so I appreciate you including yourself with this. And so it's a lot of fun. I guess, Collin, you get a chance to be on the show. Thank you very much. What comes to mind? What do you want to talk about? You got an idea where you want to open, or shall we hit the ball to you?
Since I'm new to this and never have done it, I did not prepare anything, but been a baseball fan since 1980. Actually lived in Maryland, so I got to see the Orioles lose a division title while winning 100 games, and then moved to California and learned to love the Angels and Dodgers in the 80s. And my team was always will be the 86 Angels. It was Bobby Grich hits a season opening home run. And I thought they had one more in the tank in the 1980s, because if you look at their lineup, you'd see where I'm coming from. Half the team,
it was great.
Yeah,
half the team is over 35 or something, and they pulled out the title. Best memory was attending the game that they won the division and got to go on the field with party with the fans, and just been a baseball fan and do love reading about John McGraw, anything the 1890s, dead ball era period. Yeah. So that's, I'll just read anything and just, and that's sort of high level, my fandom.
Yeah, it's awesome you jump in at a high level in terms of history. You're very comfortable with John McGraw, and I don't. It makes me throw out some of the other names that I find along the way, and I know Brian is the same way. Like, oh, Collin will get this, and he'll appreciate when we talk about whoever it's going to be. So let me. I'm going to bring Brian in here. Hey, Brian, your name is easier. I'm going to try to get you, Collin, and Collin all separate.
All right.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Collin. Collin and I have been, we interacted pretty quick. We became fast friends on there. We have a lot of the same interests in baseball history and stuff. And I learned a lot from Collin talking to him on there. Always comes with good information.
Yeah, I just love reading about the era, and especially I've grown with the fascination of reading about their post careers, and I don't know why. I think it's just because back then they didn't have that road to coaching or within organizations as much, so they had to find players, for the most part, had to find another life, another career. A few of them had multiples. I mean, they'd save money, they'd buy apartment buildings, and then they'd end up losing it all.
Yeah. I was looking at Joe Corbett's life, and I'm kind of familiar with it. I'm making a movie about his brother Jim. He was the first lineal heavyweight champion of the world. So he beat John L. Sullivan. So that's Jim Corbett. He fought a guy named Joe. That's not the guy. Joe Corbett, his brother, was an excellent baseball player. And because his family was on the West Coast and you could make a good living playing semi-pro, full pro, PCL league, he wasn't as stuck. And so when it came to contract negotiations, him and Ned Hanlon butted heads. He's like, I just go home to California and play ball there, and you're like, you're going to squabble me over $100? No, thanks. And just simply walked away. So he shows up around age 27 in the major leagues, pretty much fully developed. And then he and Ned get in a squabble, and he leaves, and then has a couple of dalliances, but also doesn't need any of it. He can just walk away. And that's so common for that time, a player to show up late or show up, disappear, and come back. It was a different time, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ultimate is always Ted Lewis, who jumped leagues and then becomes a university professor, and had talks with presidents of the United States and everything.
Yeah,
I never heard of Ted Lewis.
I'm pulling up his page right now.
Yeah, he was he was like the number 3 pitcher on some of the late 90s Bean Eaters staffs. And then when Jimmy Collins jump leagues, that was one of the pitchers he took, but then he like retired like a year or two after jumping leagues, and he becomes a university professor.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Was
so
he in
many.
like the orbit of like John Clarkson and Tim Keefe and those guys?
Probably after John Clarkson. I think he
but like post career, because they were like kind of big wigs in the real estate game around Cambridge and everything. Keefe and Clarkson were.
No, I think he went. I think he like went into divinity school and became a full divinity sort of religious type moral professor. As I said, he had correspondence, according to the internet. He had correspondence with Woodrow Wilson and who knows who, type people.
Wow. Was he associated with Billy Sunday?
I don't think so. I think Billy Sunday was much more of the sort of traveling evangelist.
Yeah, one of the kind of more kind of more of a shyster.
He'd go on tours and hold church revivals when they needed the extra funds to make sure the church could pay for the building and so on. I think Ted Lewis was, as I said, much more of a in the books academic type who didn't go to the revivals and kind of rant and rave a little bit.
Yeah, Third Great Awakening. It was something else.
Jump in here.
I got nothing to add really, aside from it's just like I'm just reading through Wikipedia and trying to see who his teammates with, figure that out. Apparently, we've talked about him a little bit, Brian, but teammate of Marty Bergen.
Oh yeah, tragic.
The infamous Marty Bergen.
Yeah, I found out a month ago on one of the I forget how to say his last name's feed that someone pointed out he got Hall of Fame votes.
Yeah.
I think you and I have had some brief conversations, Collin, about him as well, just like in bits and pieces where it's just like, oh yeah, he exists.
Yeah, well, I mean, I read a book on the Bean Eaters in the 1890s, and as I said, I do appreciate the time a lot. And yeah, I mean, he progressively, from most of the reports, just got worse and worse every season and becomes more of a problem. I mean, he was considered great with the glove, and he was about an average hitting catcher, which is really what all the teams really wanted back then. But it became more and more of a problem, and then obviously tragedy struck.
Yeah, they had
tragedy was a common thing back then.
Yeah,
if a guy got ALS before Lou Gehrig's disease, they just called it a paralysis, or if they got a fever and it changed who they were, or if they got a concussion. These things happened regularly, and so when we get real like precious with the modern player and like, oh, it was an injury, like, man, get in line. There's a whole thousands of dudes who cracked at 28 to 32 for some reason outside of their control, and that would easily often be controlled by modern medicine today.
Well, I mean, the first superstar, and I will say, the two things I love is baseball history and The Simpsons, and I basically started watching episode 3, and I'm still in awe of the fact that I saw the Montgomery Burns team, and I did not know Jim Creighton in right field had literally died 130 years ago. And still in awe that they actually nailed a baseball joke that I did not know of back in 92. And
pre-baseball reference days too.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you can't just pull a name out of a hat. You got to go to the Encyclopedia Britannica at that point.
Oh yeah, well, I had to go to the university to get it because I got everything. I mean, I knew I could tell you something about every one of the other 8 players, other than I thought Gabby actually had a longer career than he actually did, and I mostly knew him as a manager back then. But I mean, I obviously got the gag right away because I could see Napoleon and Hornus Wagner and knew exactly what he was heading for. I think it was John Schultzwalder who wrote the gag, but I did not know that. And I was in awe that, number one, I did not know that. Number two, that The Simpsons would take that level of knowledge and somehow make a joke of it.
Yeah. In our day when we were young, Collin, we had to dig through books, law-size books.
Oh, yeah.
Like Total Baseball. And you would just read and read and read and read and read. So I'm assuming you did the same kind of thing. What got you started on that? There's all kinds of great books on my folks' shelf from baseball books that I bought, baseball's greatest moments, wackiest bloopers moment, all these kind of books over the years. What got you in it, and what books do you remember well?
Oh boy, there was just Dan Oak. Oh boy, I don't remember how to say his name. Yeah. He wrote a history of baseball, and back then in the early 80s, watching the Orioles, I was like in awe that somehow that they had a team that was almost 100 years old, dominated the National League 100 years ago, and there was all these names that were hitting 340, 390 or whatever. And ever since then, just always have read all parts of history, but again, it's always sort of been my favorite during that sort of 30 years between 1890 after the Players' Revolution, which I probably should read more on what happened with that, to about 1920. And nothing against Babe Ruth. It just feels so different.
Yeah.
Collin, we were talking about Marty Bergen and his suicide. What do you think? What do you think happened with Jake Stahl? Why do you think he did it? There's all kinds of rumors.
That one, at least he didn't take anyone else with him. But I usually go down to that he got he probably somehow got a girl pregnant and got himself over his head.
That's what I assumed
situation. Boy, now was it Mercer who was the big Senators pitcher?
Win
Mercer, who was notorious with gamblers.
Yeah, many such cases there.
Yeah, I mean, some players, Arlene Latham, made it to 90. He got to tell stories of playing in his day and what I'm sure he inflated the truth. That's expected.
What do you expect?
And then there's others. I mean, I was just fooling around because I was looking up Dodger batting titles and Jake Dober. I was amazed to find out. I mean, he literally died weeks after his last game.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from.
Yeah, I'm often. Is he really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Near where I'm from, next town over.
Wow.
Yeah, because he's because I was like, okay, who's the best professional hitter of the Dodgers? And I said, okay, I'm going to go with Zach Wheat because
sure,
he's got the highest average, he's got this and that. Jake did win 2 batting titles and is one of the 2 Dodgers to win 2 batting titles with the franchise. Tommy Davis was the other. Then I looked it up and I saw he died 1924 in October, and I was like, oh my. And then I looked up his last game on the system. But yeah, I would say compared to how it was reading modern days is just so much more amazing that you can just click and be like, okay, what did he do in his last game?
Yeah.
He got 2 hits, by the way.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
No, not too shabby. He got 2 hits in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
What
fun
bugs you about how folks look at the modern game today? Because when you see these things, you realize how careers flow and how they move and everything. So when you hear folks talk about the modern game, what doesn't sit right with you?
My biggest thing is that unfortunately everyone is just swinging for fences, and it's a little straight. Okay, the winning team is just whoever hits most home runs, and I mean I get I first year was watching the Earl Weaver and his love of the 3-run home run, but it just seems to get a little much for me, just for how the game is going, as well as just the level of starting pitchers. They come out after the 6th inning.
Yeah. It feels like there's no sense of urgency to score runs.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Yeah.
A
little patient for my taste. Right. Yeah. A little smash mouthy.
Oh yeah. And I got to watch the Cardinals back in the 80s, and they weren't sitting around. They were trying to get on base and run the bases and score as many quick runs as possible without waiting for the big home run to happen. Yeah. And it just seems like every game now is, okay, the winning team is the team that hits 3 compared to 2 home runs.
But that really isn't even the real truth, though, too, right? Like we can look and see that 2-hit games win better than the team's winning percentage. 3-hit games are like 75 to 80% quite often. And so if you can put the bat on the ball, if you have players in your team who average a better than a hit a game, you have very creamy level players in terms of offense, and walks are not equal to hits. Walks are passive, more of that stuff. And so if you have a guy who has 3 hits in a game, you take that guy and you take your shot. Yes, there might be someone else who has a 3-hit game, but that'll work itself out in the very rare instance that happens. It's I don't know why we've become ensnared in home runs. They're exciting, of course, but so are doubles. So just having the ball in play is exciting. No knocking against players that, like Max Muncy, who walk and smash homers. They're fun too. But Ozzie Smith had a lot of hits in his career. I'm told he's terrible. And I'm like, look at his numbers. He wasn't terrible. He was hitting the ball and stealing bases.
Ozzie was the definition of a smart player. Whitey told him, let's not drive the ball so much. Let's slap the ball more. And smart players listen to their managers, and especially their smart managers, and they do what they ask. And, for Ozzie to be a Hall of Fame player with his glove, he didn't need to hit home runs. He just needed to, hit 365 or not 360, 265, and, at least get a decent amount of walks to get on base and try to score runs.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Yeah. And 265 would have 150, 160 hits, somewhere around there. Got on base.
Oh, yeah.
And routinely turned those singles into doubles, routinely second, and played on turf. That also helped too.
Huge, yeah.
Well, that's kind of the one odd point, that because of turf, it accented speed. So you could run a little fast, you can make it a little bit different. It is still inspiring to watch, Willie Wilson run the paces sometimes, but on the turf, the guy was was off to the races.
Yeah. Yeah, he would be in trouble if he elevated the ball, and they were like, hit the ball low and run fucking fast, because nobody was better at that than him. He was so
well, yeah. The shortstop had to play 5 steps in.
Yeah.
He didn't. He beat out infield singles all the time.
All the time. Brian.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's funny how when you look back at videos of the turf, and like Pete Rose would dribble the baseball like a basketball, running back into the field and stuff. It's just crazy seeing the way the ball would bounce.
Oh yeah,
ridiculous.
Well,
highlights of it.
He would spike the ball. Boom! He was big on spiking the ball as he ran in from first base, and that ball would bounce up behind here. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I know in terms of I still think of Lonnie Smith as kind of the GOAT of the 91 World Series, because he slowed down going around second on the Pendleton hit and run.
Yeah.
And had he scored, they wouldn't have gone extra innings. But, every time I see the play, I'm always in awe, because that double hits the wall, hits the ground, goes up another 20 feet. I mean, if he's going, if he doesn't slow down 3 or 4 steps, he scores easily.
Yeah. That's one of the things that makes that incredible Devo White World Series triple play catch even more incredible. If that ball had gotten past him, man, it's possible he clears the bases himself, you know. And just an incredible who hit that ball. It wasn't Dion, but it was a big problem, that ball. Yeah. I'll look it up right now. Or maybe
I guarantee if I watched or I asked my Blue Jays fan friends, they'd just be like, "Oh, it was this guy." At this time, immediately. I guarantee it. I guarantee if I asked Craig or Liz or Jason, they'd just be like, "All right, yep, it was this guy at this time of day. It was this amount of degrees out," because they probably know it like the back of their hand.
But watching the Dodgers win the World Series this year, I mean, the defensive plays on game 6 and 7. I mean, 6 was an incredible play. And, having the wherewithal to get the catch, get yourself in motion so you get the out was just, as one motion. Mookie's was an excellent double play. I mean, it's probably done by most shortstops in the major leagues, but it's still, that's still that sort of solid playing that makes a big difference.
Underappreciated swing man David Justice, who never gets mentioned with beautiful swings, but has a beautiful swing. He's the guy. I just looked it up. Yeah. Lonnie
no
Smith,
justice for justice.
No justice for justice.
Well, they hit the home run in game 6.
Yeah. So look at Collin just pulling shit out like he is the encyclopedia. That's great.
Well, I don't know about that. It just,
But it is amazing what people can retain, especially like guys like all of us who've held something for a long time. Like David Justice hit that ball or whatever. Like we'll figure that out. I looked that up, but there are many times when you can pull a name up, and it's amazing out of these thousands, tens of thousands of players, millions of moments. And you can picture clearly Pete Rose spiking the ball as he runs off the field with that kind of head, his head kind of bouncing. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that, we're so old. We kind of experienced Pete Rose being overrated kind of at the end of his career. I mean, he was good enough to play, but he wasn't no longer a great player past 40. And now I just feel like fans missed him.
Yeah.
And what he could do great.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, he had some bad stories of his dating and this and that. And Lord knows he has the worst haircuts. God's green earth.
Mark Davis might have him beat on that one.
Yeah. But I mean, the guy did know how to play. He played hard. He, played like a NFL fullback. He got the bat on the ball. He scored 100 runs. I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
8 or 8, 9 or how many times, and he did it when runs were at a premium. I mean, that's kind of the other odd point is being, 80s National League, except for 1987, was actually a pretty low run environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have the pitcher hitting as well.
Yeah.
So that didn't really help matters either.
Oh, yeah.
And there's only so much highlights can show because I'm born in 98, so I never saw him play.
Yeah.
Right.
And he really, he did play hard. He did play, he left the batter's box full speed. He tried to take that extra base. He wasn't a good base stealer. He never really developed that. He wasn't that fast, but he definitely played hard, and he was if the team needed him to move to third base, he played it well enough. He wasn't Gold Glove, but the Reds had extra outfielders and moved to third base for 4 or 5 seasons and played it well enough, and still hits 310, scores 100+ runs, and was the spark plug of arguably the greatest 8-man lineup ever.
Yeah. What a team.
Yeah, I mean, I got to, you know, I mean, you can place my years, so I got to see most of them play after their high point. But the one thing I would say is that there's probably no lineup that probably you could dump them in any year and they would still be the best 8-man lineup ever.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, they're so dynamic.
Oh yeah,
do anything.
I'm just looking up Pete Rose's lines here. He got on base in 140 or more games in a season. This is ridiculous. 8 times. There's dudes that can't play 8 years of 140 games, and he spent 8 of those seasons getting on base in 140 or more games. That's a guy that's hard to beat. And I don't know. I'm sure there are players like this today, but they were just like those mid-'80s Mets teams where they just had enough gamers. Like, you're not going to beat me. You might beat the next guy, have at it, but I'm going to get on base. I'm going to do something, and I'm going to make some kind of contact. And that kind of motherfucker being a motherfucker, man, it was exciting and it created tension. We still have great players today, but that kind of passion. I've been watching a lot of I've been writing about Oral Hershiser's 88 season, which I say is the best season end to end out of any season ever. But like Mickey Hatcher getting on base and sprinting down the baseline, like Pete Rose. You see that guy, he's in the game. He's not letting one instant on the field be about anything other than him trying to whoop your ass in that game. And I love that.
Yeah. And you know, but if Mickey didn't have that attitude, he probably doesn't make the major leagues.
Sure. Yeah. Steve Sachs also sprinting out of the box. They got that from Pete.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I loved about watching Brandon Nimmo the past couple of years before he got traded to Texas on my Mets. Gets a walk, and it's more of a run to first.
The books that's where I need to read up more on is the post 86 Mets. I'm still in awe of what they were in 86. And believe me, I think the Angels lose to the World Series against them. And I think they were the best team of the decade. And I'm still in awe how they did not return to the World Series or at least win one more.
That's everyone says, when they made it in 88 to the championship, right? Series. In 88, they played the Dodgers.
Yeah, they had talent beyond talent, and it was young talent, and they would have had to figure out how to replace Carter and Hernandez. But one of my favorite baseball memories is I did drive to Vegas one time in '93, and I bet on all 14 games. And I had to bet on the Mets in 1993 because of Dwight Gooden was starting. So I forever hold that against Dwight Gooden. I ended up losing like $8 or something.
Ah, damn it.
Was that in today's money? Like 2 cents? Even though they don't make pennies anymore?
It's not that bad. I'll put it this way. I one weekend, I think I lost 400 in Vegas, and I've not gambled hardly since.
It cured you. Yeah.
It kind of cured me. One time I came home with $200 extra in the early 90s. So, I get a little overconfident, and then a year later I go and lose 400, and I just haven't gambled ever since.
Yeah. You're not missing anything.
No, I think it's probably better that way.
Yeah, gambling, man.
You can get action on everything today.
God, I am sick of all the betting apps at this point. It's ridiculous.
I know.
I just want to watch the damn sport. Stop. I don't care about the betting line. I don't care. It's like, oh, he's over under this amount of strikeouts. I don't give a fuck. Just let me see the damn game.
Oh yeah, that is. I feel like the leagues are playing with fire on that one.
I mean, Class A this past year.
Yeah, he's good done, dude.
Yeah, never mind the death threats that can easily happen because everybody's on social media these days. You can easily reach out and find a wife, child, whoever. Imagine getting a death threat because you're the teenage child of a starting pitcher who didn't do as prescribed by the betting line, and someone lost however many dollars. And you're getting death threats because of it. And meanwhile, it's like, all right, I'm trying to figure out high school and how to hit on girls. Meanwhile, Joe Schmo from fucking bumfuckistan is sending me death threats because my dad doesn't do good enough at sports.
Yeah.
I'll be the spy in the room here real quick and like, let me have an exploitable guy. And gambling is like the second line, like it's bad debt, gambling, titties, all these, like, these are the things that you throw at someone. It's like the rookiest thing ever to just find someone you can exploit. It's not that hard to say your life will get a whole lot worse if you don't let that third strike go by you, in the key moment in the game.
I'll start calling you Sleepy Bill Burns now, Pete.
Yeah.
It was the crisis of 1919. And, frankly, if you read about the era, I mean, it was happening. It was happening a lot.
Benny Cow. All
that was
Heine Zimmerman.
His brother stole a car. It happened to Benny Cow. I don't think he was gambling. He might have been gambling too, but
they probably all were.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, it might have been.
It's a lot more common.
They love betting on the horses too.
Yeah.
I mean, that
if there was a game people could bet on, other people cheated on it. That's just how that works. It's true today with cards, I mean, even chess. It's all exploitable.
You mentioning a horses reminded me of me. I was reading a story recently about Sweet Kiss and the jockey that died riding it and crossed the finish line in first place. He died mid-race of a heart attack.
Yeah.
And won the race.
Yeah.
Wow.
In like 1923, I want to say.
Yeah.
So I started calling that the horse never raced again. It was called Sweet Kiss, and then it turned into Sweet Kiss of Death.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, the influence of gambling and fantasy, it's great in a lot of ways because it creates action and excitement and everything else, but also it drives people crazy about how the game is played. And I think some of that is like when you try to gamify the game, and so it's strikeouts are important unless you avoid them. Then we hate that and whatever it is, all these different crazy outcomes that people get from it.
The double standard there.
I know, right? Like,
ass.
Yeah, I want pitchers to strike everybody out, but if you avoid that, like Luis Ariz, or any of the guys who make good contact, they're somehow shitty, even though they're the and I think that just comes from the betting side of things, because when you look at the numbers objectively, you can just see that players that make contact are a problem. That's why pitchers want to strike everybody out, because you don't want the ball in play at all if you can avoid it.
Yeah, how can it be incentivized for a pitcher to get strikeouts in arbitration and be disincentivized for a hitter to avoid them in arbitration?
Right. Yeah.
Home runs are sexy or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah. There it is. Collin, who do you like this year? Who do you want to have your eye on in 2026? And how do you follow the game? Like you, California guy, Dodgers, yes. A's, yes. Giants, any of them. I want to see them all. I certainly have players I follow.
Generally follow the Dodgers every year. And just mostly kind of listen or watch any kind of games off and on, and then just try to dabble with all the other teams and try to learn that, number one, I mean, obviously being 1986 Angels, I mean, shit happens. And, I mean, unfortunately, it really did happen in 1986. And and the reliever never rebounded.
Yeah,
Donnie Moore
never
rebounded from that, and you just have to realize that you're gonna lose a fair amount. And it's and I just like to appreciate greatness. Was not an Aaron Judge fan when he first started, but guy has been amazing.
Yeah.
So even in lesser point, even if they're not my team, I still like to appreciate greatness. Still like to appreciate good playing. Still like to see every once in a while role players making what they can from their career. I like to, every once in a while, not Gaetti has Luis Sojo appreciations, and I think that was a guy who I assume was going to have a 5-year career, and because he had a good attitude and everything. And there's a lesson here. The guy had made it 16 years, won World Series, has been coaching. Never going to Hall of Fame, never going to get votes. But, he was a real lifer, and you have to appreciate that.
Yeah.
So just appreciating all the facets and just realizing that a good 15% of the players are like Crash Davis, that are that close to the show. If they had that one squeaker, they have a 6-year career.
Yeah.
Even there's a lot of them out there. I actually did meet in high school a future Dodger Greg Hensel.
Oh,
in high school, he was a year behind me, and I knew the baseball team. And good guy. He did eventually make the bigs. He made the show. I remember hearing his name at a Dodger game I attended in '95, but he still seems to have done well for himself doing coaching and a career, and there's something to that.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see less of that nowadays. It doesn't seem like we're going to see so many lifers. We're going to see guys going to and from the front office, maybe the analytics side. We're not going to see those player to coach to manager pipeline thing.
Yeah, I suspect there'll still be a decent amount of that out there, just because, even with less minor leagues, you still have a lot of coaches on the majors, and how much they're paying players. If you can be a good coach, you're still pretty worth something.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can find, develop, rehab, rediscover, retool talent, you'll make money. You may not make it at the major league level, but you start your own place. Go live in Florida, find an empty warehouse, start improving players, make $1 million a year. It can be done. I'm not saying it's easy, but there's a lot of ways to do that now. It is pretty remarkable. I mean, you imagine, like, I was reading about Bob Feller's, what I think Bob Feller's best season was, and he didn't have anybody examine where his elbow was in comparison to his hip, comparison to his back foot, none of that. He just figured out how to lever his ball in at 100 miles an hour. Not 85, everybody, 100 miles an hour.
Faster than a speeding motorcycle on a flat ground in a suit.
Yeah. I once threw a ball 82 miles an hour at the Oakland Coliseum in penny loafers, completely cold.
Boy.
So if I can do that, and I had a decent arm, I didn't have even close to the best arm amongst my friends. If I can throw the ball 82, Bob Feller.
How much ice did you need after that, though?
I just drank a lot of beer. Yeah.
I mean, potato. I mean, the beer comes with ice anyway, so.
Yeah.
Comes pre-installed.
Yeah. I don't know why that narrative sticks. Why do people believe that somehow humans couldn't throw a ball in the 90s to 100 miles an hour? like our shoulders haven't changed,
Yeah.
Well, I think it's probably one of those that, number one, I mean, at least until 1930, a lot of pitchers were reserving their arms. And you bear down when Babe Ruth came up, or if there's a runner at second base.
Sure.
So it was out. So there was a lot of that. So Walter Johnson was not probably throwing past 95 if bases were empty with the average hitter in 1913. But they did have good stuff. I think the other thing that's probably different today is they just have a lot more different type of pitches. Whereas when you go way back when, they had 2 or 3 pitches at most.
Yeah.
Plus, going back to what we said earlier, if you got injured, if you threw out your arm, what are you going to fall back on? Your arm is dead. You're good luck milking cows or lifting up pails with that. You're going to have one dead arm, and at that point, what use are you to the working world is what people would look at. As awful as it sounds, like you go work in a steel mill with one arm. What else are you going to do?
Well, I mean, they
could be part of it.
Pitchers had to do that. I mean, Smokey Joe Wood learned how to hit.
He wasn't a bad outfielder either.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. And, I'd have to read back on the various pitchers, but, a lot of them save money. They would buy a farm. They'd buy a saloon. Saloons were particularly popular before, obviously, 1920. Half of them would end up losing it after 2 or 3 years, though.
Because they weren't farmers or salooners.
Wow.
I'm a baseball player, not a saloonist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine how fast a fastball looks when it's 5:45 in the afternoon in Chicago on a stormy day with a bunch of people wearing white shirts out in center field instead of
with no lights and dust.
No lights. Zero lights. Yeah. Imagine how fast that shit looks. I bet it was miles an hour.
No.
Killed Ray Chapman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pretty fast.
It would kill Colin Chaperon. Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're relative.
Colin,
and those guys had a lot of deliveries too, so you're looking at a ball coming. I mean, think about David Cohn had several deliveries he threw.
Oh, yeah.
And did it for deception purposes. So even if you don't have 102 mile an hour fastball, you still got to get guys out. And so you're doing things. I mean, I don't know. Anyhow, it just gets silly. So that's all.
A legal spitball at that era too.
Yeah.
Try that on for size.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Colin, you're a federal league fan. How about the Federal League? They love their Emery ball pitchers. You ever notice that?
I hadn't noticed that very much, but I think it was one of those that a lot of the Emery ball pitchers probably weren't quite making it in the other leagues, so they decided federal leagues would sign them and they'd have some success.
They did. They signed. Yeah, they were calling it the Emery League. I didn't realize that until like a year or so ago. Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat. All those guys throwing the Emery ball in that league. Yeah, that league. People don't talk about that league very much. You've talked about it a lot. How that was a very influential time in baseball history that people don't know about, the Federal League.
Well, I like that. The thing is that most courts didn't defend the reserve clause the way teams said what it meant. Teams would say, "Oh yeah, you were signed for perpetuity within the team," and they'd be, they take them to court. Other than Napoleon, the courts would pretty much say, "The reserve clause says you get to, 365 days. If you don't sign, if this player doesn't sign back, you don't hold that player." And
I'm going to go back to Joe Corbett and his battle with Ned Hanlon. Ned kind of released him, although they didn't have a means of really doing that in an accurate way. And so a couple of years later, when Joe was trying to come back to the league, Ned reclaimed his claim to him. And the PCL was like, all right, we'll see about that, because they want to be competitive. And so they're like, we'll go to court for it. And he's like, fuck it. but I mean, you had to press the bet, and hopefully you get to win that bet, because it costs everybody money to go to court and try to fight that thing. And that's just a dude who is maybe going to be all right. If you get a guy who's good, then you might see that fight come out in full color between the sides. And again, who's got the money for that?
Yeah. And because the way I've looked at the way I look at the reserve clause, it was always a way for the owners to agree.
Right.
It wasn't controlling the play. It ended up controlling players, but it was the owners agreeing not to break it.
Right.
And that's how I've always kind of viewed it. And then they took them to court, and it sort of did. I mean, the thing that happened is Chuck Finn, or good old Charles Finley, was too stupid to give Catfish Hunter his contracted loan, so he sued
for his farm or something.
What's that?
Something to do with his farm, I think.
Yeah, he wanted a loan to start a tobacco farm for after his career. And amongst the time, I mean, this is one of those things where you're mixing economic history and baseball history. That's when the oil embargo happened and interest rates went up. So having a 7% loan was terrible by the time Catfish wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would have been money losing. But, you know, when you talk about Corbett, I mean, the thing that always gets me about those Orioles teams is they seem to switch ace pitchers every year. They had 5 great seasons. They seem to switch ace pitchers. I don't understand how that happened. They seem to come up with a new one every year, and then they couldn't pay them because they were paying everyone else. And unfortunately, most people don't remember the 1890s had quite a depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was it was probably the largest depression until the 30s.
Yeah.
Now, admittingly, it's not nowhere near the size of the 30s.
But still, yeah, you're right. It was a big deal.
It was a big deal, and it really hit the cities harder than anyone else. And Baltimore, unfortunately, was not. Their attendance starts falling, and they couldn't afford to kind of pay the players. And they're, you know, when they were paying all their Hall of Fame players, and now you got pitchers that you need to pay, and so they really did run up against it.
It's a shame because those guys loved playing there too, and Baltimore loved them. They wanted to stay there, and yeah, they just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, but the team, they just a lot of that is the one thing that really just threw off, and you do see the attendance after like 1895 start dropping.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of that, I think Baltimore was hit pretty hard by the depression.
Yeah, definitely.
It could be a couple of external things can cause these crazy outcomes. Like I just did a show with these guys making a movie about the SS Central America that sank in 1857, maybe, and had 20,000 pounds of gold on it. And that was just such a massive hit to the economy. It starts a depression, which can directly be attributed to starting the Civil War. Did it actually lead to that? It certainly didn't help. And so these things can happen. Charlie Finley's going to get a divorce in 74. His team wins the World Series, but nobody shows up. Not even 1 million people go to see that team. And so not only is money tight, he's like, what the fuck? Is Oakland going to show up ever again? You know, and it changes how you run. And this is not me bashing on the A's fans, although I'm glad to do that at times. But it changes how that owner has to run his business. And so all of a sudden that tobacco farm gets expensive, and he's like, you know what? How about I sell these players? It's the only thing of value I have left. And, you know, whatever. I mean, Charlie Finley was crazy, but, you know.
Charlie Finley turns into Connie Mack.
Yeah, exactly. But, it was fine when Connie did it. We don't get mad at Connie. Yeah.
Well, I mean, his fire sales were, you know, that was really unfortunate. Yeah. But, you know, the Federal League pretty much busted up the A's.
Yeah.
The $100,000 infield, and then the depression just killed the A's.
Yep.
Should we mention the Pasquale brothers and like their chaos that they showed? That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a TV series about those guys. I don't care how fanciful it is. They were already fancy as it was.
They were definitely some fancy boys. Yeah. Yeah, there was something else.
Yeah. Yeah. The Pasquale brothers, everybody tried to start a league, and it was sort of working. And it was causing I mean, you could say it did work, right? It didn't last, but there were legitimate players jumping ship, and kind of USFL like, I guess is a good way to say it.
I actually attended an Express game way back in the day.
All right. Yeah.
The infamous game, they blew a huge lead against the Jim Kelly Gamblers.
Steve Young versus Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Game's on YouTube.
I was going to say, I might watch that tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the few 11,000 people in the stands. And man, that was talk about a team that was who knows what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Or how to explain. Well, they got bought out and their owner had no assets.
Right.
He spent a bejesus amounts of money, and he's in jail in 12 months, and the league has to take him over. And that's where I first heard of Donald Trump as well. In my lifetime. And he did try to do a little bit of a Hail Mary to get put in the NFL with the fall schedule.
Hey, I don't want to bash Bo Jackson, but I want to see what your experience was growing up with watching him, Collin, because we're basically the same age, right? And so he has become Paul Bunyan, but the reality of how he played in both football and baseball is different. And if you watched him play, it wasn't just him hitting 500-foot rockets all the time. He did that, but also he struggled.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm in the corner that, I mean, in terms of baseball fundamentals, he was probably one of the worst players everyone knows. I mean, he had poor strike zone judgment. He could throw the best, he could run the best, he could do everything. Yeah. But the man was a born running back except for his hips. Yeah. Actually, I was at the game that he got injured.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, this is back in the Raiders playoffs. And me and a friend on Saturday said, let's go. And we got there early. We got nosebleed seats. So, we really didn't see much of the play. And it was kind of a nice win because, the Raiders are going to the championship. And, they get blown out of the water. But, Bo was quite an athlete. He could do great things, but I mean, he's one of those that if he wanted Baseball Hall of Fame, he would have needed to concentrate at age 15.
Yeah. It's also true. Like even in football, he was brilliant and he might hit a home run, a 90-yard run, 80-yard run, but also, and like Barry Sanders, again, not bashing these guys, but Barry Sanders got tackled behind the line a lot. And when he didn't go off, the Lions lost. And so Bo would hit the line, and if someone touched his foot, he'd fall down and he'd be tackled right there in the spot. So he was a fallible player in a lot of ways that I think we've kind of lost track of. But it's great that we celebrate him still and everything else, but just he wasn't this every time he touches the ball, something incredible happened. It was more like, he fell down. He fell down. And then 10 yards, you're like, oh shit, so it was more fits and starts.
That was a little bit of the NFL running back, but I think there was few people born with as much talent to be an NFL running back. Yeah, I think it was his sport. I just don't think he had the fundamentals for baseball. You do see him improving every season, but he was going to be 28 after the injury. He was not fun to watch anymore.
The fact that he got back to the big leagues with the fake hip though is incredible. That is ridiculous. Yeah. What else stands out? What else do you want to talk about before we wrap this up? And thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been cool to chat with you.
Yeah. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Let's just run through the lineup then. What do you got?
Do both of you think Herschel Walker is better than Bo Jackson?
I'd probably go with in the NFL. Had Bo concentrated on the NFL, I think he would have been better.
I think Herschel's better because Herschel went out and did it and stayed in the lineup and was reliable. Eric Dickerson's better than both of them, and it's not even close.
Absolutely.
Well, that goes without saying. I mean,
right.
I put on a few of the old Ram games because I remember watching them, and he was incredible in terms of how he could hit a hole and then just accelerate and just be so tough.
Yeah. But we don't have that holy shit Paul Bunyan, Eric Dickerson thing, so there's something missed. And Bo Jackson's incredible, everybody. I loved watching him play and bought his shoes and all that shit. But Eric Dickerson was always going to be the better running back, even when Bo showed up. Bo was never going to be hardy enough to withstand it. He got hurt a lot and he made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think unfortunately you're playing two sports probably is hard on the body and a lot harder.
Probably,
than it was, and as I said, I mean, it's that would make a difference. But Dickerson was quite the running back. No one could. no one, I felt like once he hit the hole, he gained 5 yards before you know it.
Yeah.
And fall forward. Now I missed, and I've seen the highlights, but the infamous OJ Simpson, I think I have to imagine that if he had 6 yards per carry in 1973, he must have been doing something right.
Yeah. I don't watch NFL at all anymore. Does anyone do pitch left, pitch right? Because that's the other thing about Dickerson is you just kind of hung the ball out there for him and he was run up to it and just swallow it and already be going like 15 miles an hour. Like it was a crazy thing to see how impactful he was with that pitch left, pitch right move. I mean,
that has been mostly, I don't know of anyone, I don't watch it nearly as much, but yeah, I mean, it pretty much, it feels like everyone has followed Joe Gibbs's original point. You have good passing and you have a fullback that runs, between the off tackle positions.
Yeah.
For predominantly, you might have a speedster that every once in a while could do that, not do that 10 times a game, but do that 2 or 3 times and can catch passes. But everyone seems to have gone. That was Joe Gibbs's sort of offense in the Redskins in the 80s was, I need a power guy. I need them to run for 20 touchdowns. I want them, I want that regular rhythm. We'll have that backup running back. And most teams have pretty much gone that direction the last 25 years.
Bill Parcells had his version of that too. I don't need a lot of yards out of my running back, but I'm going to have the ball for 38 minutes. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like it would all of a sudden the game was tight. As soon as they scored a touchdown, you're like, oh, goddamn, Yeah, it was a different game. Let's wrap this up. Collin, and thanks for coming on the show, man. And
it was very quick notice. It was just like, oh, hey, I'll hop on. It's like, yep, shit. Yep. All right, sure. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Why not? And fuck it indeed, for sure. Brian, what do you got for us?
Nothing. I was happy to meet Collin, and when I talk baseball online all the time, and nice to meet him.
Yep. It's good to meet everybody.
Put a face to a name.
Yeah.
See you around every now and then on the Not Gaetti post as the professional spreadsheet editor for him. Handle all the dashboard stuff.
Yep.
A lot of work from Collin. Thank you for all of that stuff, Collin, because it's incredible. I love looking at those Not Gaetti posts. Please keep supporting that. And Brian, how did we do? Did we do La Salon really well today? How did we do? Brian called the baseball shows the other day like the salon, like this.
Oh yeah, your
La Salon,
the Paris Review.
Yeah, the Paris Review. That's what you called it, Paris Review. Yeah, thank you for that. That's quite the compliment.
Yeah, no problem. You did all the work.
Collin, what do you have for us to wrap us up?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I need to do research on what Joe McCarthy did with the Yankees pitching and how he got the most out of his pitching, improved the defense, and really is almost underrated by modern fans. But maybe I need to do some more study on that one.
I have something to say about.
What's that?
You and I were talking about who was it? Bill McKechnie the other day. We were talking about how he built the Reds.
Yeah, that maybe that's what I need to do a little spiel on for about 20 minutes on any kind of next show is how that happened and how I mean, if you look at the Reds through 1937, they were just the worst organization outside of the Browns.
Yeah.
The Browns just in the 30s were the worst organization ever, and after 1901. Period. I mean, they're hardly drawing fans, but maybe I can do a little bit of research on how that happened and how they did win 2 pennants just almost out of nowhere and pulled the World Series. And, that's how he got into the Hall of Fame. And, I think he deserves it. And it is kind of quite a story and he dealt with suicides and the shortstop when, had a nervous breakdown. So yeah, maybe I need to think about how to go through that in a little bit of a presentation style.
He's on the McGraw coaching tree.
Yep.
Yeah, the Browns were like a punishment. Oh yeah, we'll trade you to the Browns.
Yeah.
You'd be stuck there forever. Oh yeah, well I'll go to the Pacific League. See?
Yep.
That's transferred to the football Browns now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I was looking the other day when I was doing my Oral Hershiser best season 88 thing the other day, and I saw that Grover Cleveland Alexander, when he pulled it off against the 26 Yankees, Waite Hoyt came out of the game. Waite Hoyt came out of the game and had pitched a hell of a game. This poor guy is probably the most snake bit Hall of Fame pitcher, where there was always the next thing would catch him, and it was one of these things, and goofy ass Babe Ruth gets caught stealing second base to close that game out. He's got all this talent behind him, and he's like, I'm off. Woo! And he goes running, and he gets pegged, and so a lot of that Grover Cleveland Alexander save stuff is due in part to Babe peeling out towards second with I think it was Lou Gehrig was on deck and Musial was at the plate. I mean, like, let those guys have their hacks, man.
Yeah, I know well, it's the Babe. He gets to pull a rock or two, I guess.
Forget his nickname being Babe. I'll write him down on the dashboard as Goofy Ass Ruth from here on out.
Yeah.
let that update for overnight in an hour or so.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Waite Hoyt is on the NEPTA list. Unfortunately, I've been cursed with the second I hear a NEPTA name, it's like, yep, he's been on the list. He's on the list.
Yeah.
He's on the list.
You are the list.
I guarantee if I ever got captured and told to expel the NEPTA list in entirety, I could probably name 95% of it. Just offhand.
Yep.
It's that bad at this point.
Yeah.
Well, keep going. Keep doing it. And back in our day, back when Collin and I had our names in our faces in like Total Baseball and all that stuff, you could talk about players. I mean, the numbers would just be pounded in your head, kind of like Passan does. When you show him a line and he's like, "That's so and so. That's so and so." You just look at it.
Oh, like the ref guest stuff.
Yeah.
I'm able to do that offhand now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'll be able to look at 3 teams and be like, all right, yep, this guy, this season.
Yeah, that's wild. Everybody, this is the Break It Down show. Make sure you like and subscribe. You guys know to do this stuff. Check out these guys, all of these guys on Twitter. There's guys all around me here. Go on Twitter and check them out. If you don't know where their things are, just DM me and I'll point you out. You guys know how to work Twitter.
I'm the only Collin chaperone in existence. You'll find me easy.
Yeah, but your goofy ass name is C Chapro 832.
You sure it's not 321 or whatever you threw it on the other day?
Well, no, it doesn't mean I type it in right. I try. I know it. It doesn't mean I get it right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a Pete tweet without a typo somewhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love a typo. That's for sure. All right, fellas, I'm gonna turn this thing off. By the way, right now we have another show live right now with Daryl Simmons, who is a world famous gold, multiple platinum record producer, songwriter. And so make sure you guys stay on the Break It Down show because we have good shit all the time. All right, bye-bye, everybody.